And we are live.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. If there's no objections, I guess I'm going to call the meeting to order. And if we could do a roll call, please.
Yes, Mayor Boats,
Here.
Mayor Brennan,
Here.
Councilperson Brown,
Here.
Mayor Byrne, Mr. Collier,
Present.
Mr. Dever,
Here.
Mayor DeSico,
I'm here.
Mayor Gamala,
Here.
Mayor Prosick,
Here.
Mayor Sellers,
Here.
Councilperson Simon.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. So welcome everyone to the February 11, 2021 Cuyahoga County Planning Commission meeting. At first, I'd like to read an important notice. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the Cuyahoga County Administration Building is closed for public meetings at this time. As a result, this meeting is being conducted remotely in accordance with State of Ohio House Bill 197. Interested persons may access the meeting via live stream by using the following link, which is on YouTube. I'm not sure if that's been posted or not. Oh, it has. Public comment for this meeting is being submitted in writing by no later than 1 p.m. on Thursday, February 11th via email to the following address, planning@cuyahogacounty.us. Okay, thank you. Okay, first order of business today is the organizational meeting. I'm somewhat surprised, but it's been a year since we had to organize ourselves, and we've all gotten used to this remote meeting. So we need to reorganize ourselves each year. And the last year has been very interesting, and I'm interested in carrying on my duties as president. So with that being said, I'm going to open it up for nominations for president.
I'd like to offer a nomination.
Of the county.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there a second on the nomination of Mike
Second.
Dever?
Second by Byrne.
Thank you. Is there any other nominations for president? Hearing none. Melissa Fisco, I'm just going to ask you real quick. Are we following order appropriately on the nominations?
Yep, so far so good.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
So if there is no other nominations, I will close that. And then can we take a vote on the nomination? I'm maybe I should have Councilwoman Simon actually lead this vote. If you could,
Yes.
Councilwoman.
Yes, thank you so much. I was would have handled that part too, but you did it, but that's fine. So we have a motion and a second for nominating Mike Dever, who's been with us for the past, years, doing a great job at the helm. And at this point, if there's no discussion, I will ask for a roll call.
Mayor Boats,
Yes. Aye.
Mayor Brennan,
Aye.
Councilperson Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Byrne,
Yes.
Mr. Collier,
Yes.
Mr. Dever,
Yes.
Mayor DeSico,
Yes.
Mayor Gamala,
Yes.
Mayor Prosick,
Yes.
Councilperson Simon.
Yes.
Mayor Sellers.
Yes.
Okay.
Unanimous.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm opening it up for nominations for vice chair of the County Planning Commission. I'll make a motion to nominate Councilwoman Sunny Simon for vice chair.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Is there any other nominations for vice chair of the County Planning Commission? Hearing none. Annette, could you call the roll on that?
Yes. Mayor Boats,
Aye.
Mayor Brennan,
Aye.
Councilperson Brown,
Aye, yes.
Mayor Byrne,
Yes.
Mr. Collier,
Yes.
Mr. Dever,
Yes.
Mayor DeSico,
Yes.
Mayor Gamello,
Yes.
Mayor Prosick,
Yes.
Mayor Sellers,
Yes.
Councilperson Simon.
Yes, thank you.
Unanimous. It passes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, well, how about we move on to the next item, approval of the minutes for the December 10th, 2020 meeting. Annette?
Yes.
You need a motion?
I need a motion to approve the minutes. I'll make that motion. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. Seconded by
seconded?
Mayor
I'm sorry.
Bobst. Mayor Bobst.
Thank you. Would you like a roll call?
No, I don't believe so. Is there any questions
Okay.
on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those against? That motion carries. Thank you. Do we have any old business today? No. Any new business?
Yes, if I can chime in here, Ms. Survey, for
Absolutely.
Collier.
Please, thank you.
Yeah, I wanted an opportunity to share some information with the board members. I had placed a link in the chat for you. This is a plug, a shameless plug for an event that we have coming up with a partnership with ULI, the Cleveland Foundation, and the City of Cleveland. That's relevant to every municipality, I believe, in the county. And this is a symposium that we're going to be hosting on March 2nd and 3rd. It's called Building the 21st Century City, The Future is Now. The purpose of this symposium is really to challenge cities to think about technology and innovation. We all know that innovation is happening faster than the pace of cities to be able to respond to it. And this symposium is going to introduce some both local and national speakers who will be focused on 3 areas that are going to be very vexing to cities as we move further in the 21st century. It includes technology, mobility, and equitable economic development. We have a host of speakers who are going to be giving some keynote talks. And then we have a series of panels with national and local experts. This is part of an ongoing effort to really help to advance and make our city more competitive in the 21st century. So I encourage you to log on to the site, familiarize yourself with the program. Thanks to Mary, who's also been engaged in this over the course of the development of this. This is something that we believe is very much needed. And we encourage you to register for the symposium. And post-symposium, there will be some additional actions that take shape. We're not just interested in having a conversation. We started this series back in 2015 with the Urban Land Institute when we introduced the Building the 21st Century City best practices in zoning. And that led to Cleveland's process that is taking to update its zoning code to form-based zoning. So these conversations serves as a platform to raise relevant community development issues. And we see this as kind of springboarding us into the update of our comprehensive plan. So just wanted to share that with all of the board members and electeds because the issues that we're going to be covering are going to be something that we're all going to have to contend with. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Collars. Yeah, I participated in my previous role at Team Neo with a lot of the work and the group. Some really great opportunities there for all of us to learn. I think we're all being inundated with things such as the scooters and driverless cars and thinking of our future and how does our zoning and other restrictions that we have in our community, how can we make those more welcoming and have some guidance over, how those are operating within our community. So thank you for sharing that, Freddie.
Thank you.
Standing, thank you. Is there any other new business? Hearing none, let's move to item number 6 on the agenda, the resolution.
Yes. That's resolution number 210211A, approving the provision of planning and administrative services to the Cuyahoga County Department of Sustainability in supporting the implementation of the Healthy Urban Tree Canopy Grant Program.
Okay, Mary, go ahead.
Thank you. Yes, in your board package, you should have received a briefing memo on the Healthy Urban Tree Canopy program, as well as the full text of the resolution. If there's any questions, we can discuss that now. We will be hearing from Allison Ball on our team with an update on the Healthy Urban Tree Canopy grant program shortly. Were there any questions on the resolution or the briefing memo? Excuse me.
Any questions from the members? Nothing? Okay, Mary, go ahead.
Sure. And just as this is the 2021 program, if you'll remember, there was a program in 2019. There was not a program in 2020 due to COVID, but this is the same program being implemented again in this fiscal year.
Okay, anything further on that, Mary?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Can I have a motion to pass resolution 210211? Can I have a second? So
Mayor
moved.
Gramella.
Can a second? And
Michelle is second.
Made by Gamella, seconded by Sellers.
Yes.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the executive director's report. First, I wanted to, before Mary, you jump into that, I want to make sure, back when we met back in January, or I'm sorry, in December, it was during the selection of Mary Serbia as our new executive director. And I want to make sure I go back and thank Patrick Hewitt for his yeomanship work over the last 6 months on taking the reins within the County Planning Commission and the really great work that he had done. And I just wanted to make sure to recognize Patrick for that great work. So thank you.
Absolutely.
So with that
Thank you,
being
Mr. Dever.
said, Mary, if you could go into your director's report.
Thank you. Yes, I would second that. Patrick has been instrumental in helping me get onboarded. So thank you to Patrick and to all the staff here that has been tremendous in helping me onboard and get on with our work here. So, and thank you to all of you who approved my appointment, and thank you for the vote of confidence on that. So it's now 30 days exactly from my start date on January 11th. And so I'm learning a lot still. And I thank you for all of your support and reaching out. I've successfully completed one-on-ones with all of the team members. So that really provided an opportunity to sit down with them and discuss, any concerns they may have, challenges, issues, things they're excited about, and how we can move forward together to keep advancing the work of the Planning Commission. I also met with the county executive, the Personal Review Committee, Finance, HR, and Legal. So again, making those connections and those contacts so that I can utilize those resources as we need them. I attended my first NOACA board meeting, as well as my first NOACA Planning and Programming Committee meeting. That was the Committee of the Human Resources, Appointments, and Equity Committee, as well as the full County Council meeting. So I've attended those meetings since beginning on January 11th. I also, my first week, there were 2 Lakefront Public Access Plan public meetings. And then a couple weeks after that, there was the 3rd. So I've had 3 Lakefront public meetings, and it's been a great partnership with Mr. Dever and his team and Public Works. Really exciting, getting a lot of public input, which is what we need, and keep continuing to encourage folks to get involved and provide their input to the plan. I also did a video for the Ohio Loves Transit campaign. So thank you to the IT staff here at the county and to Elaine to really encouraging me to do so. This week is the Ohio Loves Transit campaign across Ohio, and RTA has been pushing out that message. And so thank you to everyone who's provided testimonials, videos. We really do want to keep supporting the work of RTA. I've had several project and program meetings. So we have weekly meetings here with the team, giving updates on the projects that they're working on. And there's no shortage of wonderful work that's being done here. And we're working with a lot of your communities out there. And so we appreciate your willingness to work with us and letting us use our expertise to help shape the future of your communities. I've had weekly manager meetings, and we've had 2 staff meetings. So again, just continuing engagement with our team here, especially in this remote world that we are taking turns coming in and making sure we're safely distancing when we are working together. And so just getting to know everybody a little bit better. Still a lot of work to be done, a lot of policies, procedures, IT needs beyond. This has been a chair that has revolved a few times. And so there are some things that were in progress, and we want to continue to work through those and help get our staff and our abilities up to the best that they can be as we move our work forward. Just did mention Lakefront Public Access Plan. There was the property owners meetings held on January 12th and 14th. We had a total of 140 participants between those 2 meetings. The public meeting was held January 28th, and we had 300 participants during that meeting, which was terrific. The property owners survey is complete. The public survey is open until March 1st, and that information is all contained on our website. There are recordings of the public meeting as well as the presentations on the website as well. And so if there are anybody in your community that is wishing to provide public input to that, please point them to our website. You'll hear from Allison Ball shortly here for the Healthy Urban Tree Canopy Grant Program. This program was launched on January 22nd, and Allison will provide you some additional information. But this is a great partnership with Cuyahoga County Office of Sustainability, Soil and Water Conservation District, and the Board of Health. And so I thought it was important for our team members that are working on these projects and programs to present it to you so that you get some more familiarity with our team. And since they're the closest to the work, it's best coming from them, and they can answer any questions you might have. The other update we're providing today is on the Cuyahoga County Greenway Partners Executive Meeting that was held on January 19th. Director Grace Gallucci hosted that meeting, and our next meeting of that executive group will be on March 30th, and Director Zimmerman will be hosting that. So I have Elaine Price on our team, and Michael Mears will be joining us for that presentation to again provide an update on that initiative, countywide initiative. And part of the Ohio Loves Transit promotion came out of that executive directors meeting to really say we need to support each other in the work that we're doing. And so I was happy to be able to bring that to the attention of those around us. And then also bringing this to you as our board was an ask of that executive director group to make sure that we're getting this information in front of our board members. And then my last update, we've got a biannual budget, so there's no action required at this time. We are working to identify revenue generating work for 2021. I know this is something that has been done in the past, and I think it's important that we continue to make ourselves a viable organization and look for opportunities that we can provide generating revenue through our work. Jennifer Caraff on our team will be providing a financial update to you shortly as well. In terms of our board seats, we had 2 terms that expired December 31st, Mayor Sellers and Mayor Brennan. I would like to thank them both for their willingness to continue serving. This recommendation was made to renew the appointment at the Human Resources Appointments and Equity Committee of County Council on January 19th. So that is in motion to get those renewed. And one thing I want to do, I know it's been done in the past too, is just congratulations where congratulations is due. The kudos corner. I wanted to congratulate our team member, Rachel Novak. She earned her American Institute of Certified Planner certification in late 2020 amidst COVID and all things that were going on. So congratulations to her. AICP is one of those designations that is extremely important for planners in the work that we do. And Rachel is the 5th member of our team to obtain that certification. So congratulations, Rachel. And then congratulations to our intern, Laura Mendez Ortiz, on her recent completion of the Master's in Community community planning degree from the University of Cincinnati College of Dapps School of Planning. She is back with us for her second internship at County Planning through May. So welcome back, Laura. She's been a great asset to the team. And that is all from me on those. I'm going to turn it over to Allison, and she will provide an update on the Healthy Urban Tree Canopy Grant Program. I'm going to stop sharing, Allison.
So hello, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Allison Ball. I'm a planner here at Cuyahoga County Planning Commission, and I've been with the Planning Commission for about 14 years now. So let me share my screen. And all right, so can everyone see that now?
Yes.
Yes. So great, thank you. The Cuyahoga County Healthy Urban Tree Canopy Grant Program, as Mary already said, is a collaborative partnership with the Cuyahoga County Department of Sustainability, the Cuyahoga Soil and Water Conservation District, and the Cuyahoga County Board of Health. So Planning Commission is the fiscal administrator. And in addition to that, we work with our partners to develop the methodology. It's a competitive grant program, and the implementation of the program. So going back, the program year, the first program year was in 2019. I just thought I'd share some of the results. This program resulted in the planting of over 1,400 trees through 9 implementation grants. In addition, 14 community or neighborhood tree plans were developed for future planting work, and these plans identified over 14,500 planting sites. When we say 14,500 planting sites, that's not for one tree. They have designations in these master plans or these tree plans for small, medium, and big planting sites. So, and then the final accomplishment was the completion of a business plan for a nonprofit tree nursery within Cuyahoga County. Most of the trees that are being purchased from tree nurseries are from outside of the county. So the purpose of the tree canopy grant is to add large-scale planting, expand tree canopy in areas that are vulnerable, establish new tree canopy, protect the existing tree canopy, and establish plans and policies that promote tree canopy. So, and again, in 2019, we had the tree canopy assessment released, and we can see compared to the 2013 program that we are still losing canopy. So this is an important program for us. So next one. So what's new for program year 2021? Mary mentioned that this is the same program, new year. I like to think of it as new and improved. We revised and updated the program for 2021. We have new forms and worksheets. We added large-scale planting projects as an eligible activity. We did increase the local match, and we have a shorter and definitive timeline for 12 to 18 months. We launched this on January 22nd, and it's pretty quick turnaround. So this 18-month timeline will allow for 3 planting seasons. And finally, any planning project, because there are still communities that applied for planning projects that hadn't received them, they can still get that planning done, but they must incorporate planting in program year 2. So that is the addition and the updates for the second program year. The 2 different types of grants that we'll be funding are planting grants, and they will fund the planting and associated activities that preserve and expand tree canopy in Cuyahoga County. The planning grants will fund activities to develop inventories or urban forestry management plans that include potential planting sites. And again, I'm going to just stress this, that all planning grants must incorporate a planting program. I've been working with applicants as they develop their applications, and one aspect that keeps coming up. This isn't really about planting trees, but growing trees. So in addition to planting, we're looking at watering, maintenance, mulching. So there's all kinds of criteria that we will be looking at, not just the number of trees being planted. So it's a competitive grant process, and the grants will be evaluated by the team with members from the 4 partners for local match, readiness to proceed, urban forest initiatives, qualified personnel, project plans, maintenance plans, vulnerability assessment, the existing tree canopy, community and environmental benefit, and partner coordination. So as we said, the program kicked off at the end of January 22nd. On January 28th, we held an applicant workshop webinar. We had 75 people attend, and then I had another 6 requests for copies of the recording and PowerPoint. So I think there's a lot of interest out there. The applications are due by 4 p.m. electronically, and we will take the first 3 weeks in March to evaluate and score and rank the projects. And then another week to make sure we have everything right and develop our communications policy and announce the awards on April 1st. And then this year, the awardees will enter into a project agreement with Cuyahoga County Planning Commission. We're going to give them 60 days. And if they can't get that project agreement signed in time, then they will be out of eligibility and will go down the project list rankings to make sure we give away all the funds. And then awardees, this is also new, it could have been on that other slide. Awardees will have a mandatory workshop for to review reimbursement procedures and oversight procedures. The Cuyahoga Soil and Water Conservation District does go out to evaluate and oversee all the planting activities so that they are planted to standard specs, and that that they have the best opportunity to grow. So, and if they don't have that sign off from the Soil and Water Conservation District, then they will not be able to be reimbursed, and that will be in the project agreement. So we just want to make sure that we have this workshop for the awardees that to improve our customer service. If you think of our awardees as customers, we just want to have the best experience for everyone involved. That next slide should say questions and answers, and that's all I have. So,
Thank you, Allison.
Sharon.
Director Dever.
Yes, Councilwoman.
Thank you. I just had a question. You mentioned that you increased the match part of it. Can you elaborate on what you increased it from to, and how we came to that decision?
Absolutely. So the match was 5%, and it was increased to 10%. So, and this was a decision at the committee level. We felt that the 5% wasn't enough, and people were, the applicants, didn't have enough skin in the game, and they weren't following the procedure. So we just wanted just a little bit more commitment from the communities, and we did not think the extra 5%. And we did go through some analysis of that up in the 8th floor.
No, so that's helpful to know. I just was curious about the level, so thank you.
I also want to say that so eligible applicants are the municipalities and nonprofits with an environmental focus. So then and community development corporations and watershed groups. So for the nonprofits, the eligible nonprofits, we're also looking at their available assets is reported on the Ohio State Department of something website. It's escaping my head. But if they have over $5 million worth of assets, we are requesting a 50% match. So, and again, just to help spread out the money a little bit more equitably this year for the projects.
Thank you. Thank you, Director.
Chairman Dever,
Mayor Bobst?
thank you. Allison, do in-kind matches or contributions count for that match?
Yes,
Okay, so it can be monetary or in-kind.
yes. So administration of grant will not count for match. But you know, planting the trees and the maintenance of the trees, so the service of the trees would count. So, and that was it is explained in detail in the applicant manual we developed. And those of you that are familiar with the other grant programs that run, we developed an applicant manual that explains everything and all the policies. So, and again, I am also available to assist any applicants.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Allison. Mary, what next?
Thank you. I'd like to just add on to Allison that, you know, it was lessons learned from the 2019 program, which I think will make this program even better this year. And so I think they've thought of about everything. So good job to Allison and the whole team working on this. Fingers crossed. Okay, thank you. Our next update is going to be on the Cuyahoga Greenway Partners. Elaine Price and Michael Mears will be providing an update on that. So the last update that came before this board was in 2015. So there's been a lot of change in board members, some new, some no longer with us. And so I just wanted to be sure that you're all aware of the great work that's being done as part of this initiative. As I mentioned in my earlier comments, this is a county-wide initiative. This has come a long way, and Elaine and Michael have been working very hard on this, and with all the committees, Freddie's been very involved too. And so there is an established Cuyahoga County Greenways. There is an established website. And so we wanted to make sure that we provided you with an update on the current status of the initiative. And at the end, I will be asking for your help. So I will turn it over to Elaine.
Okay, thank you, everyone. And I'm Elaine. I do the green space and the blue space water stuff. I'll give more of an update on the Greenway Partners, which is a collaboration of key agencies. And Michael is going to kick us off by reminding us of the Greenway Plan. So take it away, Michael.
Thanks, Elaine. Completed in 2019, the vision for the Cuyahoga Greenways Plan was to build a countywide network of easily accessible, low-stress pedestrian and bike facilities for people of all ages and abilities. Funded through NOACA's TLCI program, the plan aimed to bring all the previously completed bike and pedestrian plans in the county, including the Eastside Greenway Plan, identify new projects into one unified vision for the county. During the Eastside Greenway planning process, which involved a dozen or so communities on the east side, it was determined that a similar plan should take place for all the communities in northeastern Ohio or in Cuyahoga County. So with that goal in mind, county planning led this initiative to improve mobility and active transportation on behalf of the 59 communities in the county. You can jump to the next slide. So to support the planning process, county planning partnered with the Cleveland Metro Parks and NOACA and several consultants to lead a robust public engagement program that aimed at gathering comments from regional organizations, stakeholders, and residents. This outreach resulted in direct input from over 30 regional agencies and groups included on both our project team and technical teams, and participation of 43 of 59 communities in the county through our steering committee meetings. All totaled, this process included over 20 community-wide events for stakeholders and the public to provide feedback and comments on the plan and the process. Next slide. The Cuyahoga Greenways Plan was intended in what we called it sort of community-driven and data-enriched. And this is really an effort to balance the required technical analysis that we needed with stakeholder input and comments. The first step was identifying of candidate routes across the country, through community input, stakeholder input, technical input, and consolidation of all those previous plans. With hundreds of participants providing thousands of comments, we felt it was important to evaluate the potential benefits of the over 800 miles of existing and proposed routes that were kind of identified throughout the county. All candidate routes were sort of identified through the process, were evaluated through a variety of different criteria, or what we called core factors. These core factors included things like access to trails, access to park, access to transit, jobs, mobility factors, habitat factors, and other things. Each candidate route that was identified in previous plans or through stakeholder input was then evaluated across these factors and assigned a score based on how well it had addressed each one of these data sets or core factors. Next slide. And so the final step was to take all of those sort of identified routes and evaluated routes, using that analysis to sort of create and identify and prioritize a smaller set of routes for implementation. With over 100 miles proposed routes, it was important to create a smaller list that highlight a variety of notable connections throughout the entire county that should be made or potentially made sort of in the future or in the near term. This map of 69 projects in sort of 3 distinct categories is intended to be that guide and flexible recommendations, understanding that there's no one-size-fits-all solution to design or implementation of these routes through the county. Many of the projects that Elaine will sort of talk about later in this presentation have been already identified in the Greenways plan in this prioritization map and sort of classified into one of these 3 different groups.
Okay, thanks, Michael. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about the Greenway Partners. So back in 2014, we convened the executive directors of several different organizations listed here, and we threw a question on the table: should we get together and collaborate to try to get more trail and bike facilities done in Cuyahoga County? And there was a unanimous yes. Should have done this years ago. County Planning kicked it off. Director Collier was one of the founding members as well. And I've highlighted 2 additional organizations. At the time we started, we didn't have ODOT involved, but as we have worked through a lot of the activities, we really recognized that we need ODOT at the table. And so at our meeting with the executives in November, we unanimously agreed to invite ODOT. And I want to thank Mary. I think Mary had been on the job 3 days, and I mentioned this to her, and she said, I know those folks. She sent off a message, and boom, we immediately had ODOT at the table. I'm also highlighting mayors and managers. When we formed, actually, we had one of the mayors who was serving on our County Planning Commission board and was also on the executive committee for mayors and managers. This was Mayor Wheelo of South Euclid, who was also a founding member of the Greenway Partners. So we do want to look at how we re-engage the suburban communities in this initiative. But the partnership, it's not a new organization, it's a collaboration. And what we are charged with now that the plan is done is how do we activate the plan and get projects moving, and then do all the support functions that help favor projects. So the 3 main areas we're focusing on, first of all, is raising awareness. As you all know, the first step for getting a project moving is there has to be support at the community leadership level, and there has to be support at the public level in that community. And the way you get support, people have to know about it. So we're really on a campaign to get the word out that we have a Cuyahoga County Greenway plan. One of the tools we need to do that is a new website. And so County Planning took this on with input from the Greenway Partner members. And with a great team that we have in-house, kind of led by Kevin Leeson and Dan Meany, we designed, wrote, populated, built, and launched a website, and we're maintaining it. And we didn't use any outside help or resources. A couple of us wrote it. Susan, Patrick, and Sean helped edit it. So we now have a Greenways website up, which will be the go-to place for getting the word out and even getting input. So outreach is a big component of what we need to work on this year. Another one is project collaboration and assistance. We know that, Michael listed the 69 or showed the 69 main projects. Now we're trying to hone in on which of those can we get activated fairly soon to make them ready for funding opportunities. And then a third area that we focus on and we want to move on are advocacy. In 2019, the state updated the state trail plan framework. We want to get the Cuyahoga County Greenways recognized and integrated into that state trail plan because we know that will position us better for funding. There also is a state legislative trails caucus, which formed in 2017. Cuyahoga County is underrepresented on that caucus compared to some of the other urban areas of the state, and we would like to change that. And then there's, local and state policies that we keep our eye on that we want to come together as a team to help advocate for, which just continue to position us for getting the funding that we need to move forward on these things. One of the efforts that we've been talking about for a couple of years, we call coordinated infrastructure. And this is really the idea that anytime any entity is going to be out there mobilizing backhoes and bulldozers to do an infrastructure project, if it overlaps with a bikeway or a trail project, we want to, as much as possible, work towards getting that bike lane, that trail project built or part of that area prepped so that it can be built in the future. County Public Works is obviously a great partner in this as a member of the Greenway Partners. And this is just a list of some of the infrastructure projects that Public Works is going to be doing in the next year or so that has a Greenways component associated with it, that by getting together with those communities, that these projects, these bike lanes essentially are going to be able to be created and built as part of the infrastructure projects. So we want to do more of that, and we want to do it with all partners. So we actually have activated, I am working directly with somebody from the sewer district who serves as the executive for the Greenway Partners. And next Tuesday, we're pulling together members from Metro Parks, Public Works, City Cleveland, RTA and ODOT, NOACA, and the sewer district, just to look at everybody's infrastructure projects. Where are they? When do you plan on doing them? And are there ways that we can align projects and align them with the Greenway projects to see if we can get them built? So I think that will be a huge benefit going forward. Funding is always a big issue. So we are wrapping ourselves around ongoing funding programs. And again, we need to continue to advocate for securing and continuing the programs we know about. And right now we're very much specifically looking at things that are coming down the pike in 2021. We expect that the Build Grant Program, formerly known as the Tiger Program, is going to announce open applications next month. We believe that there will be stimulus funding, which will usually include infrastructure and could very well be applied to bike and trail facilities coming down this year. And we expect a new Transportation Act. So collaborating around, many of you are familiar with the Red Line Greenway project. That was a collaboration that came out of the Greenway Partners to collectively apply for Tiger Grant. And now that trail is going to be open this summer. So when we look at, this big list that Michael displayed was outcome of the plan, and we're honing in on what are some projects that might make sense for us to rally around. And these are just some examples. Michael and I went over the list with Mary, and kind of as a first cut, we recognize that these are some projects that we think are very important and are in a position to be moved to their next step and could really be advanced if the Greenway Partners gets together and rallies around these for applying for funding to get them moving to the next step. I'm going to turn it over to Mary now. What's really important is that we want to make sure that we have the voices of all of the suburbs in the game. And we need to kind of advance that, how we communicate with the suburbs. We don't want a project in the suburbs to not get into the pipeline and to get the push from the Greenway Partners to keep moving. So I'll turn it over to you, Mary.
Thank you. A lot of information. I know that Michael and Elaine are working very closely with all of these organizations. And, we come to the point where, what does it mean to you and how can you help us? And I think that's really where we want to discuss just briefly with you, that you look at those list of sites and these connectors. And if there's not buy-in from the community, those projects are not going to be successful. And so we are looking for your help in helping get that outreach out to the communities that you represent and those mayors, to have dialogue with them about this project, about these plans, and to see where they stand. Is it a priority for them? Could it be a priority for them? Or do they potentially have other projects that we don't know about? And making sure that we're having that open dialogue. And so we'll follow up with you after this meeting. Obviously, I entertain any questions you may have, but we really need your help in reaching out to those mayors that you, in those regions that you represent, to get this dialogue going, because we know there's communities that it's not something that's on their radar. It may not be something, obviously, that's the most important for them, but as we're showing these, there's no point in this group prioritizing those connectors if the community, we don't have buy-in from the community. So I hope that's not a too forward of an ask, but we will be following up with you and appreciate your assistance in advance. I think that was everything for that. Elaine, Michael, any questions from the group?
Any questions from committee members? I want to say thanks to both Elaine and Michael. Great work that they're doing over there. I know there's members of my team here at Public Works that are really getting deeply involved in that, and we're going to stay focused on that. So thank you once again.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, and I think that's the main thing with all of this, is that we just have to have collaboration and discussion between the various communities and departments within the county, because we just we have to know what everyone else is doing so that we can all row in the same direction.
If I may add real quick, with respect to the projects that were outlined there, particularly those in Cleveland, where you have a lot of regional amenities in the city in a very dense urbanized environment. Many of the projects that you saw listed in the black were projects that have some funding, that are catalytic and beneficial to the entire region, but need some added resource and capacity. And I want to emphasize additive. Obviously, there are numerous municipalities that are under this umbrella and at different levels of sophistication with respect to where they are in their investment activities when it comes to trails. But one of the key things that we've always preached from the county perspective is being able to identify where that value add is, or where that gap. And I think that's where Elaine and the team and others have been very instrumental through this initiative, being able to facilitate honing in on where those gaps are and where that value add can happen. And I think when you start to, be in a situation where municipalities see that value added benefit, then the guards come down. There's that comfort level. There's that trust being built. And if we can't get our act together around something as mutually beneficial as trails, then we don't have a chance at any conversation around any type of thing regionally, if you ask me.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Director Collier.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions? Oh, I'm sorry, Mary. Go
No,
ahead.
I was going to say, I was just going to ask if there was any other questions or comments from the group. I don't think there are.
Okay. Well, thank you again for that great executive report and presentations.
Thank you.
How about we move on now to the financial report, Mary?
Yes, Jennifer Carafa will share her screen and provide a financial report for you. And I hope you like this format. I'm hoping to get more of the team involved in giving presentations so that you get some FaceTime with all of them and get to know our team better, so that way you don't have to listen to me the whole time.
No, I think it's great.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jennifer Carafa, the Fiscal Officer for County Planning. Let's start with some financial highlights. 2020 was year one of our 2-year operating budget. It was built at about $2.8 million each year. However, it was a year of great uncertainty. I think we all know and can appreciate that the COVID-19 pandemic really had an impact on our operations. 2020 was also the year where our funding classification, it changed from a special revenue fund to a true general fund agency. And this was prompted by the ERP system that the county has implemented. So to be clear, county planning has always received a general fund subsidy, but this new ERP system and a new chart of accounts, which became effective in February of 2020, really changed how our funding source was classified. Like many organizations, our team went remote in mid-March because of COVID. And as an organization, we were asked by the county budget office to provide a budget reduction of 15% to our bottom line. And this was actually more than many other county departments and agencies. But CPC did enact a number of cost-cutting measures. We did a mandatory furlough, but we capped it at 40 hours. We cut our merit program. We had a hiring freeze. And we also cut our professional development programs. Ultimately, though, our 2020 budget was not reduced, so it's good news. However, we did honor a lot of those cost-cutting measures last year. But during this time, county planning did continue to work on its active projects, and we still brought in outside revenue. We did that through contracts with our municipalities and other governmental sources, like a contract with Ohio Public Works Commission. In total, county planning did generate over $132,000 in outside revenues last year. We also deposited an additional $275,800 as a pass-through funding source from Department of Public Works. And that was to finance the Lakefront Public Access Plan with our contract with Smith Group. I am going to share some numbers with you, but ultimately, we ended the year with an overall operating surplus, and that was largely due to a salary surplus given our unfilled but funded positions, as well as operating another 6 months last year with an interim executive director. Our programs and projects, however, didn't lapse, and we were able to continue to provide the annual Community Planning Grants Award Program. We identify projects through a competitive application project. We ultimately awarded $250,000 in-kind community planning and zoning grants, all of which kicked off last year. County planning also continued to administer the 2019 Healthy Urban Tree Canopy Grant Program. That was this initiative kicked off by the county executive, and as Allison mentioned, with several county agencies and partners. So while there was not a new round of funding for applicants in 2020, county planning was busy being the fiscal agent for those 2019 grant awards. And we did issue close to $500,000 in reimbursements for those awards in planning and implementation. Okay, so here's a look at our numbers. This is our operating budget showing both 2020 actuals in column 1 and in column 2, the budget appropriation. You can see that we ended the year under budget in nearly every category, with the exception of our supplies account, which is best explained by wholesale changes made because of the ERP budget structure, in which our sub-accounts changed quite a bit. However, I was less concerned about any under or over performance within those sub-budgets and more concerned about exceeding the bottom line, which we didn't come close to. We ended the year with operating costs of just over $1.874 million. Our largest expense, as always, is our salaries. We are a professional services organization. Contractual services was our second largest expense, of which about $495,000 was issued as part of the 2019 Urban Tree Grant reimbursement requests. And honestly, I had anticipated more requests in 2020, but as the fiscal agent, we are at the mercy of applicants to submit those reimbursement requests, and COVID had an impact on them as well for initiating and implementing their projects. The balance of funds spent on contractual was for other active contracts, like the one with our subconsultant, Megan Cany, and our contract with OHM Advisors, which is for the TLCI Community Confluence Study, of which we are being reimbursed ourselves through ODOT and NOACA, but we had to first front the cost of the consultant. While we did go over budget on commodities, I want to say that county planning was well under budget in our other operating account. And this reflects the fewer mileage, travel costs, conference attendance, but also less investment in our staff, as I mentioned, in terms of the memberships, subscriptions, and professional development. In terms of our 2021 budget, we were appropriated at the same level as year 1 of this biennial budget, but we did see a 2% increase for our cost of living adjustment to both salaries and benefits, but which translates into an overall net 1% increase to our total operating budget. You can see that our current year operating budget was built with that same appropriation to again offer this new round of funding for the Healthy Urban Tree Grant Program. $950,000 is available in that fiscal year or program year, and it's resides in our operating budget. Okay, looking ahead, county planning will continue to engage in contract generating revenue. We have active contracts with lots of entities like Department of Development, Public Works, and even Public Safety Justice Services, as well as other entities that have planning and zoning needs. And as long as our professional staff can deliver them based on our capacity, we will continue to seek outside contracts. However, we will continue to offer another round of the community planning grants, which generally award between $250,000 and $300,000 to applicants. Our 2-year budget was built to include salaries for 20 full-time employees, and that does include 3 potential vacancies and funding for interns. There is some uncertainty now that county planning is a true general fund agency with a once again calculated subsidy rather than a fixed subsidy, which we had advocated for and had been operating under since 2017. So now we're asking, how can we use or retain a portion of that outside revenue that we bring in? And we'd like to be able to redirect a portion of those revenues to reinvest in our workforce and enhance professional development of our staff. County planning is also in need of a new project timekeeping software that tracks both dollars and hours on projects so that we can either bill clients or demonstrate how much in-kind service we really provide to the area. We'd like to be able to redirect a portion of that for upgraded computer equipment, much of which our computers were last replaced in 2014. So we're in need of that, and we'd like to be able to redirect a portion of those outside revenues to finance those types of costs. And with that, I'd like to open it to the floor for questions.
Okay,
I
thank you,
have a
Jennifer.
question.
Councilwoman Simon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Finance Director or Jennifer. So with the recategorization of the funds received from the general fund, instead of being called a special revenue fund, does that impact any of the money you're receiving or how you're receiving it with the ERP transition?
It does change that the funds we receive are deposited directly into the general fund. And they used to be received to us. And if we needed appropriation on them because they were cash, we could still do that. Now we're finding, for instance, just this past Tuesday to come back to County Council and say, can you appropriate those funds we deposited so that we can spend them? So it's not a huge net change, but some difficulty in that we have to leverage those dollars back.
So I appreciate you telling us that, and it might be a glitch that can be looked at again to see how that might be better streamlined.
I welcome that.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. We'll look
Hey,
at
Jennifer, you had made a mention of dollars that you would like to redirect for, be it hardware, software, or employee training. What dollar figure are you thinking?
We are currently trying to put a dollar amount to that. So within Mary's first 30 days, we've bombarded her with a lot of information. So I don't have a hard number on that yet, but it's something, we're not asking for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
No. And it may be something that may be a percentage of the revenues we bring in versus a set dollar amount. We're getting information from all of the team here on what memberships dues they have coming up, the cost of those, the timing of those. And again, we're doing the inventory of the hardware and software to determine what we can, replace this year versus future years.
Okay, so do you anticipate to come back to the group in the our next meeting is in April 8th. Is that your intent then?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Is there any other further comments or questions on the fiscal report? Seeing none. Thank you, Jennifer. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Item number 9, comments from the public. I don't know if we received any comments, Kevin or Annette.
We received no comments from the public.
Okay. All right. Okay. Does anyone else have anything they'd like to add to the meeting today? Hearing none, I'm going to make a motion for adjournment. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mayor Sellers. All right. Thank you, everyone, and look forward to seeing you on April 8th, 2021.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks again.
Thank you for your patience.
Thank
All
you.
right, take care.
Bye-bye.